Have you ever wondered why Jews refer to God as Hashem? In Hebrew, Hashem literally translates to the name. So when we talk about God, we're literally calling him the name. Fascinating. Why? It's one of those common words that we hear the whole time, it's second nature, but we almost never stop to ask, what is this actually about? Why would you address the creator of the universe by a generic label like the name? To understand it, you have to ask a bigger question first. Why do names exist at all? If you were the last human standing on Earth, or if you're on a desert island, you wouldn't need a name. You don't call yourself anything when you're alone in a room. You don't whisper your own name to remember who you are. Names don't exist for self-identity. They only exist for connection. A name is a bridge. It's the tool we use when someone else wants to reach out and say, I see you and I want to relate to you. Now, in official prayers and in the Hebrew Bible, the Torah, God does have sacred formal titles, but those majestic holy titles are treated with immense reverence, reserved specifically for standing before him in prayer or reading from the Torah or Tanakh. So what do you say when you're just walking down the street or making coffee or talking to a friend? You say Hashem, the name. And it's the ultimate combination of respect, but also everyday intimacy. It keeps his sacred prayer titles from being worn down into casual slang, but also makes sure God isn't left out of our daily life. It says, you and I both know who we're talking about, and it creates a breathtaking paradox. God's true essence is infinitely beyond human language, and yet he invites a personal daily relationship anyway. That tension is the whole beauty of Hashem. It acknowledges that while God is far too vast for us to fully define, he isn't too distant for us to reach. You see this exact emotional shift in one of our most famous ancient prayers, Adon Olam. It opens with cosmic, mind-bending scale, master of the universe, who reigned before any form was created. God is vast, infinite, unreachable. But by the end of the very same song, the tone turns completely personal. He is my God, my living Redeemer, my refuge. Into his hand I entrust my spirit. How do you bridge a God who commands galaxies to a God who holds your hand when you're afraid? Through a relationship, through a name. And making that relationship known to the world, that was the entire mission of Abraham. Right before Abraham enters the biblical story, humanity tries to build the Tower of Babel. The builders explicitly declare, let us make a name for ourselves. Babel was about ego-chasing fame, power, and self-aggrandizement. Then Abraham walks onto the stage, and the Bible sets up an incredible contrast around the word name if you take a look at the text closely. When his brother, Haran, dies young, Abraham steps up. Traditional sources explain that Sarah, who is identified in the text as Iska, was actually Haran's daughter. And by Abraham marrying her and taking in his orphaned nephew Lot, Abraham devoted himself to preserving the name and legacy of his fallen brother, even while enduring the personal pain of their own infertility. While the builders of Babel were obsessed with making their names great, Abraham devoted his life to making others' names great, and especially God's name great and known. He built altars and, as the text explicitly says, called out in the name of Hashem. And here is the beautiful irony. Because Abraham refused to chase his own fame and instead spent his life elevating God's name and others, God turned to Abraham in Genesis 12 and made him a promise. I will make your name great. Babel tried to force their own greatness and failed. Abraham tried to make God known, and in doing so, became immortal. Because Abraham understood something fundamental. God doesn't just want to be worshipped from afar. He desires to be known. The creator of the universe wants a real, living relationship with us. He wants his presence felt in human reality. And that became the core Jewish mission. Our job isn't to retreat from the world or keep God as a hidden secret. Our job is to carry Abraham's torch, to make God's presence, goodness, and name famous in a world that too often forgets him. That's why our ancient prophets pointed to the ultimate vision for humanity with the words, the famous words that we quote all the time in synagogues. On that day, Hashem will be one, and his name will be one. It means a day will come when God's hidden presence is so clear to everyone on earth that his true reality and his name, his desire for connection and to be known, will be completely united in human consciousness. We don't call him Hashem because we don't know his name. We call him Hashem because he gave finite human beings a way to reach toward the infinite. Every time a Jew says, Baruch Hashem, every time a child says, thank Hashem, every time someone whispers, Hashem, please help me, they're doing exactly what names were created for. They're making him known. They're strengthening the relationship. Just quickly, we've all heard of heaven, hell, and the afterlife, and at some point I'm sure you've given it some thought. But the Jewish view is radically different from almost everything you've been taught, and once you hear it, it will change how you understand life itself. Have a watch of the trailer for our new JTV Plus documentary called Heaven, Hell, and the Afterlife, and you can watch the full film right now by clicking the link below in the video description. Across the world, the afterlife is described in simple terms. Heaven above, hell below, the devil waiting to tempt you, and a humanity born in original sin. But Judaism tells a story that is older, deeper, and far more hopeful. Less obsessed with fear and more rooted in purpose. A story where the soul is not born guilty, but born noble. Where the body is not the enemy, but the partner. Where the devil isn't God's rival, but his assistant, because Judaism has no second power. Where hell exists, but not forever. Where heaven exists, but not as the final destination. And where the real end of the human story is resurrection, not escape. Judaism views history as a mission, not a mistake. Other civilizations teach that we are here to earn our way into heaven. Judaism teaches that we are here to bring heaven down to earth. And to understand what happens after we die, we first have to understand why we're here in the first place. In this JTV Plus documentary, we're going to reveal the Jewish vision of life after death. One of the most misunderstood ideas, but if understood correctly, can transform your very understanding of life itself. To watch this JTV Plus documentary and access much more premium content, click on the link in the video description.